lot of games. Alright, share
Yeah.
this. Share link. Okay. Welcome back, live squad, to another Combo League podcast. We are currently in week 6. I'm your host, Avengers. Alongside us is our host, Lima.
What's up, guys? Great to be back for another week.
Hope y'all do enjoy. As always, if you are new or a returner and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to know when we start going live, and of course hit that like button showing us that you do support this series. Apparently a lot of people do, and we are glad to see it. But as always, let's get into these games. First game is Lima's and Gummy Bear, Raiders versus Steelers, 15-6. If we look at offensive yards altogether, it was a close game, but you definitely won in the rushing game. 0 turnovers to his 3. Your red zone efficiency was 100 while his was 50. And you owned the ball for 20 minutes while he only owned it for 6. That is a crazy amount to own that ball.
Yeah, and honestly, I can't remember if it was the first quarter or the third quarter, but I almost had the ball the whole quarter.
Derek Carr, 68 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, sacked once, perfect game, 6 for 6. And then Big Ben, 94 yards and 2 interceptions, sacked once. In the rushing game, though, leading rusher for Oakland Raiders is rookie out of Bowling Green State, Johnny Speed, for 32 attempts, 86 yards, and a touchdown. A 2.7 average. Oof.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, the type of player I am, I'm gonna stick with the run game no matter what, but it was
Yeah.
tough getting some yards, let me tell you.
Le'Veon Bell, 13 attempts for 58 yards and a 4.5 average. Uh, I guess all in all, not a great rushing day for either side. Low rushing for both sides. In the receiving game, leading receiver is Jared Cook for 4 receptions, 55 yards. And, of course, Antonio Brown, 3 receptions for 35 yards. In defense, though, sacks, one by Stephon Tuitt and Khalil Mack and Wesley Woodyard sharing a sack together. In the interceptions, though, Obi Melifonwu, 1 interception, and Garyon Conley with 1. So two 1 years, rookies last season, getting you those interceptions.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I also had a forced fumble,
yeah,
and it
TJ
doesn't show
Carey.
a recovery or anything, but that
Uh,
was on a kickoff, and I did actually recover that fumble. It was a good strip, but I don't know why it doesn't show.
but all in all, it was low scoring affair, but it was a good game for both of y'all. Well, for you, congratulations on the win. Good luck to both of y'all for the rest of y'all season. Next, one
Ooh,
down,
another close game.
Buffalo Bills versus Chicago Bears. Buffalo Bills undefeated until week 5, losing by 2 points to the Chicago Bears. Really low scoring. He still had that rushing game, but he's turned over the ball 3 different times.
Yeah, and that looks like it's what hurt him in this.
He owned the
Definitely.
ball more too, but his looks like he never got into the red zone. So it looks like defense is held up for both sides actually. Uh,
And as you can see, going into the throwing, Tyrod Taylor did have throw 2 interceptions and passed for only 27 yards, while Trubisky threw for 91 yards and had an interception. Sorry.
yeah, but Trubisky sacked 4 times and Taylor sacked twice. In the rushing game though, we see LaShawn McCoy actually getting hurt because I was looking before we started. LaShawn McCoy actually is hurt. 13 rushes for 109 yards and 8.4 average. Not a bad day, just no touchdowns. And for Chicago was Trubisky, one attempt
With
for
one attempt.
13 yards.
That's fine. Oh wow! Look at Jordan Howard's rate.
Yeah,
13 attempts for 10
10
yards,
yards, a
point
point
0.8
eight
average.
average. Oof, nothing really there. What do we got in the receiving game though?
Ooh, okay. The former Raider leading for the Chicago Bears, Amari Cooper with 4 receptions, 52 yards. And then leading for the Bills was Jordan Matthews with 1 reception and 18 yards. So obviously not much passing going on there
No,
for
in the
the
for
Bills.
either side really.
Yeah.
In defensive though, Shaq Lawson for Buffalo getting 3 sacks. Chicago, Danny Trevathan and Leonard Floyd both having 1 sack each.
All right. So 3 interceptions in this game, as you can see, one by Kyle Fuller, one by Bryce Callahan, and one by Micah Hyde.
What
And
is up,
as you can see,
CNC Nation? How you doing, buddy? How you doing?
let's see here. As you can
Interceptions yard.
see, Callahan had a long. How it looked like he caught it in the end zone and probably returned it.
Both
But
two defensive touchdowns though. Bryce Callahan and Micah Hyde. There had to be a safety, right? No. Where did the 2 points come from then?
he probably missed the extra point and then kicked the field goal.
Well, is that what happened in kicking? Field goal.
Yep,
Yep.
that's exactly what
Missed
happened.
the extra point and made a field goal. Yep. That is definitely what it is. We are good, CNC Nation. We are good. How you? Let's. We're just doing this. We're just doing this. Really, Lucky Whitehead actually on the Buffalo Bills. I looked at punt return. Not only one punt return for 14 yards. Lucky Whitehead though, former Dallas Cowboy, now on the Buffalo Bills.
All right, so good job with that one to the Bears taking down an undefeated team. Only a couple undefeated teams left, but another really close game coming up here with the division rivals Giants and the Eagles.
Giants actually undefeated themselves.
Yeah, and they remained undefeated in this one, as you can see.
Let's look into this though. Oof, Giants putting up those passing yards. Only one turnover to their three. 66. It's this red zone, guys. 66. If you can't get it in, just take your field goal because 66% for the Eagles and 100 for the Giants.
Yeah.
Eagles getting it in penalty yards and time of possession too. Just nothing there.
Well, going into the passing game, you see Davis Webb having a really good game for the Giants. 319 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a long of 99 yards. Wow. And then Carson Wentz for the Eagles throwing for 295 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions.
I think it has helped the Giants when Eli Manning is now sitting out and Davis Webb is taking over. He has not thrown as many
Yeah,
interceptions this season as he did last season. In the rushing game, though, leading rusher was Paul Perkins for 11 attempts, 50 yards, and a touchdown. And for the Eagles, Denolius Barker, rookie out of Georgia, 15 attempts for 47 yards, a touchdown, and a fumble. Really,
Alright, then
still
going
nothing on
into
the.
the receiving game, you see Sterling Shepard was the leader with for the Giants with 6 receptions, 164 yards, and a touchdown, and he was on the receiving end of that 99-yard touchdown pass
Oh
from
yeah.
Davis Webb. Then leading for the Eagles was Mac Hollins for 4 receptions, 100 yards, no touchdowns. 4 receptions for 100 yards though.
Oh, I have to go down though. Odell Beckham Jr. only being targeted one time for 18 yards. Just had to put that in there. In defense though, in sacks, JPV leading the Giants with 1.5, and then the only person for the Eagles, Michael Kendricks with a lone sack.
And then interceptions, you see two Giants players, B.J. Goodson and Zadarius Smith, each getting an interception. Not
And
much of a return for either one of them, though.
forced fumbles, we have two, one by Landon Collins and Eric Berry. Really not a surprise to see either of them with forced fumbles. Two really
Yeah.
hard-hitting safeties.
Yeah, and you see Ronald Darby recovered one of those fumbles and returned it 40 yards for the touchdown.
Yeah.
And that was the only defensive touchdown of that game.
Kick return or punt
No,
return?
no,
Neither. Oh,
okay.
congratulations for the Giants staying undefeated. Good luck to both of y'all. We always know how I say it. It's a long season ahead. Now,
All right.
this is a big game.
Yeah,
Dalmid, Carolina Panthers really has, the last two seasons has had up and down seasons. And Blake Deshaun, Tampa Bay, has really made an impact in this league, being one of the top contenders. And but Dalmid did not see him as a threat and came in and dominated in Tampa Bay.
yeah. As you can see, there were a lot of yards in this game, so a lot of offense. But turnovers. Blake Deshaun had 3. Dalman had none.
And the
I mean, other
50% red zone for Blake
yeah,
Deshaun. But we always got to look into player stats, and we start with the passing. Cam Newton, a game of his career, with 287 yards, 4 touchdowns, only sacked 1 time.
and then
Jameis
Jameis
Winston,
Winston from the Bucks,
100,
177 passing yards, 3 touchdowns and 1 interceptions, and he was not sacked at all. But this was definitely a big rushing game for both teams. Going over to rushing, you see the leading rusher for the Bucks was Devin Stroder, the rookie out of Miami, with 22 attempts for 223 yards and a touchdown. And leading for the Panthers was Christian McCaffrey with 21 attempts for 154 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he did have a fumble.
but Christian McCaffrey, even last season, was a very good runner. I think he had over 100 yards every game, and he's done that again this season with Christian McCaffrey. In the receiving game, though, who was the leading receiver? O.J. Howard, tight end for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 2 receptions for 104 yards and 1 touchdown. And for Carolina is Devin Funchess. 1 reception for 77 yards and a touchdown. Have to say this before we go on. Christian McCaffrey still being a dual threat in the yards.
Yeah, definitely. Alright, moving over to defense. The lone sack was by Robert Ayers Jr. for the Bucks.
And for interceptions, rookie out of Texas A&M, Deontay Sanders with 2, leading for the Carolina Panthers. And James Bradbury with 1 with the 91 interception return.
Ooh. And as you can see, Eric Weddle with 2 forced fumbles.
Another veteran coming in here. Any recoveries though? No, of course not.
No, it doesn't look like it. And then the one defensive touchdown was the one that Avengers talked about, the James Bradbury interception return.
91 yards. Kick return to punt returns? None.
Oh, no. So no punts at all. That's interesting.
Congratulations to the Panthers and good luck. Y'all are 2 strong teams and just need to keep going. Who is next on this list? A blowout by the Cowboys, another division rival with the Redskins and Cowboys.
Yeah. And as you can see, Cowboys did pretty much dominate all portions of this game. 210 rush yards, 137 pass yards, and 347 total compared to only 175 by the Redskins. And the Redskins had 3 turnovers while the Cowboys didn't have any. Alright, so going into passing, you see Alex Smith with 137 yards and 4 touchdowns, was not sacked, while Kirk Cousins threw for 83 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions, and was sacked twice.
He has not had a good season at all. In yards for rushing, though, Zeke coming in with 23 attempts for 161 yards and 1 fumble. And Ty Montgomery, Packer now turned Redskin with 20 attempts for 63 yards. Even with that fumble, he completely dominated with the rushing game.
Yeah. Alright, going into receiving. You see, the leading receiver for the Cowboys was Xander Razik, the rookie out of Tennessee. He had 7 receptions for 97 yards and 3 touchdowns. And then leading for the Redskins was Terrell Pryor Sr., 1 receptions for 61 yards and a touchdown.
In defense, though, 4 sacks, Cedric Thornton and Devin Benjamin, rookie out of Louisville, both having 1 sack each.
Yeah, and as you can see in the interceptions, Aaron Williams led with 2 for the Cowboys, and then Orlando Scandrick did get 1.
And
Let's see, were there any forced
fumbles,
fumbles?
one by T.J. Ward. T.J. Ward actually having himself 1. And there is
No
a defensive
recoveries.
touchdown by Orlando Scandrick.
There was a punt return for a touchdown by Jakeem Grant, an 83-yard punt return.
Well, congratulations to the Cowboys. Good luck.
Alright,
And then we
so
come
next
to
game on the list. Another divisional game with the Dolphins and the Jets. And I mean, going into this one, it's like the Dolphins has been leading in yards for I think most of the games he's played, but it just hasn't been enough.
it's and they had equal turnovers, just Dolphins having 1 more, but it looks like the Jets their defense just played great in stopping on 3rd down.
Yeah. Um, it. I'm guessing that Mama Bear the Jets was just able to capitalize on the turnovers more, and Dolphins weren't able to capitalize,
Yeah.
or maybe move the ball equally, but he settled for field goals instead of getting touchdowns or stuff like that.
In the passing game, though, Blake Bortles, 260 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked.
9
Sorry
times.
about that. Just had to sneeze. And Dak Prescott, Dallas Cowboy now, Miami Dolphin, 255 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, sacked 5 times. A big sack game, 9 and 5.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Going into the rushing, you see the leader for the Dolphins was J.J. 17 attempts for 101 yards, no touchdowns. And then not much for the Jets here, but Lorenzo Taliaferro, 10 carries, 43 yards, and no touchdowns.
And it's sad to see. I looked into their injuries, and Corey Grant, the #1 rusher for the Jets, is out. So it takes away a big threat by Mama Bear to have someone who's got some speed for him.
Definitely.
In receiving, though, leading receiver Deshaun Royals, rookie out of Marshall, with 6 receptions, 199 yards, almost 1 off of 200, and 3 touchdowns. And this is a surprise to see. Quincy Enunwa, 3 receptions, 120 yards, and a touchdown. It's usually Robbie Anderson that's leading for the Jets.
Yeah. All right, so going on to defense, we're not going to talk about every single one of these sacks because there were a lot. But leading for the Dolphins was Charles Harris with 3, and then Darren Lee was the leader for the Jets with 2.
And interceptions, won by 3 different people: Christian Jones, Barry Church, and Austin Sturdivant, rookie out of Stanford.
All right, let's see here. Forced fumbles. There were two, one by Simon Bomar and one by Charles Harris. Were there any fumble
Yep,
recoveries?
3.
Three.
What?
Wow. Okay.
I
How are
guess
there
2 forced fumbles.
no forced fumbles by the Jets, but yet the Jets have two fumble recoveries?
And
Huh.
for the Dolphins, Miles Jefferson, rookie out of Stanford, having 1. I don't know. Oh, there's a blocked kick by Justin Burris.
Oh,
There,
that could be it
that
then.
yeah, maybe that counts as one of them. And
But
oh
as you
Lord,
can see, three defensive touchdowns in this game. Um,
2.
Christian Jones, Barry Church, and Austin Sturdivant.
Well, we know Barry Church is off of the fumble, but is Christian Jones off of the pick or is it off of the fumble?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And then of course Austin is off of the pick. A kick return or punt return? Neither. Well, congratulations to Mama Bear. Uh, Good luck to both of y'all. And now we come to the moment of truth. Game of the week, 49ers and Lions. Very close game, a 19-14 game.
Yeah, this was definitely a close game, and I think we
And
both picked Debo coming out on
Debo,
top in this one.
but it's good to see that the Lions did stop Debo for under 100 yards. But as we said, the turnovers were going to be the downfall for the Lions. If he could hold off if he could limit the turnovers, it might have been his game if he limited the 5 turnovers to maybe 2 or 3 less.
Yeah, and that's definitely something you got to watch for when you play against Debo.
Because even
Because
Debo only, no,
even if
sorry.
you are like slowing his offense down, you got to watch out when you're on offense because his defense is almost like playing offense. He gets so many turnovers in a
And
game.
it's another thing. Lions also had 42 penalty yards, but Debo only had 33% for red zone efficiency. 33%, guys. But he did own the ball 7 more minutes than the Lions. But of course, we're gonna go into passing. There's really only one person. That's Strongarm Stafford. C.J. Pathard, 98 yards, 1 interception, sacked 3 times. And Strongarm Stafford, 218 yards, a touchdown, 5 interceptions, and sacked 3 times. It
Wow.
looks like he tried forcing the ball too many times
Yeah.
downfield, and it got him.
Yeah, we'll see where those interceptions come from too, if it's by
Yeah.
his linebacker or just forced throws. But anyways, going into rushing, as you already know, no rushing from either team. Joe Williams leading with from the Niners with 24 attempts, 65 yards and a touchdown. And leading from the Lions was Amir Abdullah for 10 carries, only 20 yards, no touchdowns.
It's receiving. Marvin Jones Jr., 6 receptions, 61 yards, and a touchdown. And it's Kenny Galladay, only 1 reception for 27 yards. That's
Wow.
it's really weird to see him that far down the list.
Yeah. And then going on to defense, leading in sacks for the Lions was Cliff Averill with 2.5, and then DeForest Buckner leading the Niners with 2 sacks.
Interceptions, 2 by Reuben Foster, right outside linebacker. And for Detroit, the lone interception was by Glover Quinn.
Let's
Forced
see
fumbles?
here.
None.
No forced fumbles. Wow.
Block kicks or safeties? None on that end either.
And there was a defensive touchdown by Barry Wade. It was a pick six.
Rookie out of Texas.
Depending on when that was, that might have been the game changer.
It's just Devin Wade who changed his name to Barry Wade. Played strong safety. You know, guys, we all played the long shot where you played as a safety in the one challenge. And he came from Texas.
True.
But no punt or kick return touchdowns. Good, congratulations to both y'all. Debo for the win, and Lions, our Thorpe for stopping Debo under 100 yards. great game to both of y'all. Good luck for the rest of y'all's season.
Alright, going into this next game, another division matchup with the Texans and the Colts. And as you can see from this one, the Texans really kind of way outperformed the Colts in the offensive side of the ball. But 3 turnovers for each team, so that was pretty even. But 400 total yards gained for the Texans, 203 rush yards, and 197 pass yards.
Owned the time of possession with that rush game too, making the clock. He owned the clock. It looked like, but for quarterbacks, Deshaun Watson, 214 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, sacked 2 times. And Andrew Luck, 237 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, sacked 4 times.
Wow, and then going into rushing, you see Lamar Miller having a really good game. 20 attempts, 186 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Then leading from the Colts was Jerick McKinnon, 16 attempts for 51 yards, a touchdown, and he did have a fumble.
In the receiving game, leading receiver was Jerick McKinnon, actually. Leading receiver, 4 receptions, 124 yards, and a touchdown. And for Houston, it was Will Fuller with 5 receptions and 72 yards.
Yeah, Jerick McKinnon having a big fantasy day.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, going over to the defensive side, you see Barkevius Mingo leading the Colts with 1.5 sacks, and then Marcus Gilchrist leading the Texans, the safety, with 1 sack. Actually, a couple players tied, so he wasn't leading, but...
In interceptions, 4 interceptions, 2 by Indianapolis, 2 by Houston. TJ Green and Vontae Davis, and Kevin Johnson and Jonathan Joseph.
Negative 21-yard interception return. That's funny. Alright, going over to forced fumbles, you see there was one by Sealmore. Was there a recovery? Okay, there's 2 recoveries, but only 1 fumble, so maybe there was another blocked kick.
No.
And nope.
So that's just...
Maybe it was, it could have been that kick, the field goal, like somebody maybe tried to kick a field goal and it was short and the person returned it. I don't know.
But it's funny to see. I have to make a thing on the interceptions. 2 young guys, two young talented defensive backs with interception. 2 2 veterans with interceptions.
Yeah.
Kick
And then
return.
Vontae Davis did have that interception return for a touchdown. No kick or punt return.
Congratulations to the Texans. Good luck to both y'all and the rest of y'all season.
Yeah. Alright, so as you can see,
1 game.
The Chiefs and the Ravens played their game, and yeah, it's just because they disconnected the first time. I think disconnected the second time, and then the third time they just played from the same point spread, so we just gave the force to the winner. But so we won't get into the stats on that, but Chiefs did win that. So the last game we're going to talk about here is another division game, the Falcons and the Saints.
38-14. MP Tiger Pride, another undefeated team. Really, it was a strip. William Elliott saying from our last game that the reason it was a strip, but then it should still count as forcing a fumble, right?
Yeah, it should still be a forced fumble.
But hey, thank you for giving us that insight, though, to say.
Yeah, I mean with the stats here, they don't get them right, so it doesn't surprise me.
Ooh, this game. Falcons taking off. Like not giving up a second in any of the quarters, getting points in every quarter. Stopping the Saints in the second half.
Yeah, and I mean really, this was actually kind of a clean game for both teams. The Saints did have 1 turnover, but that was the only turnover in the game. So this was just offense outperforming defense is what it was. But 390 total yards for the Falcons, 175 rush, and 215 pass. Let's see here. Both of them had 100% in the red zone. Saints did have a fourth down conversion. I don't know how much that meant, but
We go into
all
the
right.
we go into passing, and Geno Smith, I guess, is the starter over Matt Ryan now. Because I don't think Matt Ryan's injured, but or it might
No,
be.
I don't think so.
I don't know. It doesn't say. Maybe he got injured. I
No,
don't know.
I don't think Ryan is injured. I think he's actually starting Geno Smith over Matt Ryan.
Well, Geno Smith, 250 yards and 2 touchdowns, 3 sacks. Blaine Gabbert, 40 yards, 1 interception, sacked 7 times.
Yeah.
It's gotta hurt that Drew Brees is out for them though. You don't have someone who can just throw that ball.
Yeah, exactly. But going into the rushing game, you see Alvin Kamara. The actually was a rookie last year. I was almost gonna say he's a rookie, but
No, yeah.
18 attempts, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a fumble. And then Tevin Coleman leading the Falcons with 20 attempts for 130 yards and a touchdown.
In the receiving game, leading receiver is of course Julio Jones, 4 receptions, 98 yards and a touchdown. And for New Orleans, it was Kobe Fleener, with 1 reception and 12
One
yards.
reception, totally. That's funny. All right, going over the defense. Let's see all those sacks. Two from Cameron Jordan leading the Saints, and two from Tack McKinley leading the Falcons. And then a bunch by some other
Yeah.
players down there.
Interceptions, one interception by Keanu Neal. Didn't go anywhere with it though.
Yeah, and as you can see, there were three forced fumbles by the Falcons, but all of them were recovered by the Saints.
Yeah.
No defensive touchdowns, no block kicks, no safeties. All right,
Kick
no kick
return.
return or punt
Punt
return.
return. Well, congratulations to the Falcons. Good luck to everybody for week 6 because it's a long week. And of course, we're gonna go into week 6 and tell you the game. And we sat here, we talked. There were so many games we could have chosen from, and it came down to 2 games: Packers and Giants, and Cardinals and Chiefs. And we ultimately decided with the Cardinals versus the Kansas City Chiefs on a couple reasons. Cardinals and Chiefs, DeJuan and Keon the best know each other, been in many leagues together, and it's gonna be a crazy game of who is better than who kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think, according to both of them, they've both beaten each other. But and, I mean, and Dewan has really stepped up his game from last year. He's starting off this season really strong. So, and Keon actually kind of starting off
Kind of
not as
slower.
strong as you'd expect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of slower. But we all know how this game's gonna go down. Well, not all. We we know which side of the ball we're choosing. I'm gonna have to say it's the rushing game from both. Arizona Cardinals with David Johnson, and then Kansas City Chiefs with Latavius Murray, both known to run the ball very heavily. So it's gonna be
Yeah.
a run offense type of situation, meaning that the front seven on both sides have to shut down that run.
Yeah, and obviously, I really don't think either of them are going to pass on each other because the Cardinals have Richard Sherman in that secondary now,
Oh yeah,
and the Chiefs also, I think, even after starting off slow, is still one of the best pass defenses in the league.
yeah.
So,
You're right. Cardinals having Pat Pete, Tyron Matthew, and now Richard Sherman just really uh,
yeah,
another Legion of Boom, I guess you could say.
it's really a no-fly zone there, but
Yeah,
it's
no.
honestly a no-fly zone in either for
Oh yeah.
either team because Chiefs, he still does have a good secondary. He doesn't have Eric Berry anymore, but he still knows how to play on the passing defense.
Oh yeah.
So it really is going to come down to whoever can run the ball better.
Okay. But if you're gonna have to choose one, which side you going with?
All right, this is a tough one, but I think I actually am going to go with the Chiefs in this one.
You're going with
Started
the
off slow,
Chiefs.
but
Latavius.
he's
So
he, yeah.
Latavius Murray with the Chiefs. I'm gonna have to go with somebody I really like. I like the team of the Cardinals. I like the Chiefs too, but I have to go with David Johnson, one of my most watched players. I love to watch David Johnson. I'm really. It sucks that he got injured so early in the season again. But I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
say the Arizona Cardinals takes this one with David Johnson powering that ball through. He's a dual threat
yeah.
in the passing and the running game. So I'm really gonna have to go with the Cardinals in this one.
All right. Well, as we know, there can only be one winner unless they somehow tie, which has happened in this league. So
Oh
don't
yeah.
count it out. But so I'm going Chiefs. You're going Cardinals, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of talk in the chat about this game.
Oh yeah.
So
Chiefs, Cardinals, who's gonna win? But as we always say, if you're watching this after the stream is done, in the comments below, hit us with your prediction. I'll scroll through the list, show you the games. Maybe you have a different game of the week that you want to say, but if you do, hit the in the comments below, tell us and why. Or if you agree with us, tell us which team you think is gonna win in this one. But of course, it comes down to the last thing in every podcast, and that is weekly awards. Who won weekly awards for week 5? And sorry about my cat.
all right. So getting over there, I haven't got there yet. All right, week 5, players of the week. This actually some new names here. I haven't really seen Cam Newton in here yet, but
Oh yeah. Reuben Foster's I don't know in this year, but I know last year Reuben Foster came in at least once.
yep. And then you see on the AFC side offense, I don't remember his first name, but Royals, the receiver from the Dolphins, 6 receptions, 199 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And then Cardale, I think it's Cardale.
Yeah. With 5
Uh,
tackles, 1 interception, 1 forced fumble, and 1 touchdown. They deserved it. These group of people really deserved it, especially with the way Cam Newton played. Royals played really well as a receiver. Reuben Foster helping out the 49ers, and Jones really giving the Chiefs a step up in week 5.
yeah.
But it has come to an end, like every podcast, where we have to say our goodbyes. But of course, like I always say, if you are new or returning, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to know when we're streaming. Maybe I've been doing a bunch of videos. If y'all will please, I don't know if y'all would like them, but we got Mud Squad seasons going. We're right now in the playoffs. I hope you go and watch all those that I've been posting. I'm starting to post a lot more. There's going to be a lot of more videos posted. Maybe not a men, but I hope y'all do enjoy the ones we're going to start posting of different games. And of course, hit that like button, showing your support for the series. I'm your host, Avengers. Alongside us is our wonderful host, Lima.
All right, and thanks for joining us for this week's podcast, and we'll see you next week for the next for the
Week
next week
7.
podcast.
For week
Yeah.
7. Peace out, Live Squad.